September 2021. So we should be able to conclude on that topic of the portfolio theory. So there's a question I want us to do, the one for September 2021. There's a question for September 2021. There's a question number 1, part B. September 2021. There's a question number 1, part B. There are some few details I want you to know from that question. So the question reads that September 2021, question number 1, part B. So the question reads that, mine's on page 19. Mine's on page 19. So it reads that Sofex Limited is contemplating building a 3-asset portfolio. Building a 3-asset portfolio comprising assets of firms A, B, and C. Comprising of the assets of firm A, B, and C. So the company wishes to invest shillings 5 million in the shares of these funds. So given below are the number of the shares and the current market price per share for each company. They have given you company A, B, C, number of the shares, current market price per share. So forecasted market price for each share after 1 year and their probability of occurrence in different states of nature are given as follows. So they have given in the state of nature, probability, forecasted share price after 1 year for company A, B, and C. So additional information. The correlation coefficient of the returns for the assets are given as follows. So they have given it for A and B, A and C, and also B and C. So required Roman letter 1, the expected portfolio return. Roman letter 2, they also wanted you to calculate using mathematical model, compute the portfolio risk. So this time round, it is a 3-asset portfolio. The previous questions we have been doing, they were basically 2-asset portfolio. So you should now be able to see how to go about. Another challenge in the question, they have not given you returns. They have given in the share prices. They have given us the share prices. So we should now learn how to convert those share prices into returns. And that's the key reason I want us to do the question. You see, they gave you the current market prices. They also gave you the forecasted prices. There is no return that was given. So a return on the share, we normally compare the price at the end of the year and the price at the beginning. So that difference is what should be the return. But show it as a percentage. You need to show it as a percentage. So to get the percentage return, for us to get the percentage returns, we simply take the price at the end of the year, which will be P1. We minus the price at the beginning of the year. We also divide by the price at the beginning of the year. Then we express it as a percentage. When you want to get the percentage return on the share, take the price at the end of the year. You subtract the price at the beginning of the year. You also divide again by the price at the beginning of the year. Then show it as what? As a percentage. So for each one of them, when you check up there in the second paragraph, they gave you the company, number of the shares, and the current market price. Current market price is now our PO. Then forecasted share price is now P1. So we compute for each share under each condition. So we start off with the share A. We start off with share A. So under share A, there is boom. There is boom. So for boom, it is 60, that's their forecasted price. But when you check up there the current market price, they gave you 50. Are you able to see the 50 shillings per share? Then divide again by 50, express it as a percentage. That will be for whom. The next one is normal. The next one is normal. So normal, the same. They were able to give you 55. Also subtract 50, also divide by 50, express it as a percentage. Also the share price for A under recession, you take what you are given as 48, you also subtract 50, divide by 50, express it as a percentage. So that is now the percentage return for share A under whom, normal, and recession. So you do the same for share B. You do the same for share B. You repeat the same process. Under whom, share B, it is 50 shares. Minus the current is given as 40. You also divide by 40, express it as a percentage. The next one is 46. You also take 46 minus 40, also divide by 40, express it as a percentage. Then the one as 35, also minus 40, also divide by 40, express it as a percentage. So that is for share A and B. There were 3 shares. We do the same for share B. Sorry, C. We do the same for share C. For share C, the first one is 36. Also subtract the current, sorry, the first one is that the current share price given as 30. You also divide by 30, express it as a percentage. Next one is 34 minus 30, divide by 30, also express it as a percentage. The last one is 7 minus 30, also divide by 30, express it as a percentage. So those are meant to be the percentage returns for share A, B, and C. Those are meant to be the percentage returns for share A, B, and C. So the question had given you the share price. So you need to convert them into percentage returns. So to get them as percentage returns, remember to take the price at the end of the year. You subtract the price at the beginning of the year. You also divide by the price at the beginning of the year. So those are now our percentage returns for each share. Those are meant to be the percentage returns for each year. So get those figures so that you can answer the question. So those figures were necessary for you to answer that particular question. Because the question gave you the share prices, but now we require the percentage returns. Once you have computed those percentage returns, because that Roman letter 1, the question wanted you to calculate the expected return. They wanted you to get the expected return. So once we have done that, we need now also to compute the total market value. You should also be able to calculate the total market value to give us the proportions. So once we have this information, we need now to come up with the total market value to give you the proportions. So total market value, we should come up with the total market value, total market value. So the question gave you the number of the ordinary shares. You multiply by the current market price per share. So A, they were able to give you 50,000 ordinary shares. Then the current market price has given us 50. So we multiply to give you what is meant to be the market value. So 50,000 multiplied by 50 is 2.5. So we get 2.5 millions. We also do the same for B. B, it is 32,500. Also multiplied by 40. So this should give us which figure? Sorry. 1.3 millions. There is also C. So C, it is 40,000. Also multiplied by 30, which is supposed to give you 1.2. So when you add them together, they add up to 5 millions. When you add them together, they add up to 5 millions. So now we calculate expected return of the portfolio. We now compute expected return for the portfolio. So to get the expected return for the portfolio, we simply take the weight of A multiplied by expected return for A. Then we should also be able to get the weight of B, expected return for B. Then weight for C, expected return for C, like that. So we start off by calculating expected return. Start off by computing the expected return for A. So to get expected return for A, you got which percentage for whom? 20. Yeah, so take 20%. The probability of whom was 0.3. We add. Remember, I'm first of all calculating this item. See this one? This one is what we need to compute first. This one. So I'm first of all calculating expected return for A. So what are you getting as A? For normal. Normal, you got what percent for A? 20. 10. You take 10 multiplied by 0.4. Then what are you getting under recession for A? -5. -4. The probability is 0.8. Those figures we calculated, those percentage returns. We shall also be required to get expected return for B. We shall also be required to calculate the expected return for B. The first return for B, you got which percent? 25. Also multiplied by 0.3. The second return for B was which here? 15. Also multiplied by 0.4. Then the last return for B was 12.5. Also multiplied by 0.3. So that will give you expected return for B. We should also get expected return for 3. So the first return for 3 we got it here. 10, 20. So 20 multiplied by 0.3. Then the next one was which here? 13. Finally, the last one, what is that? 7. That's it. So that should give you expected return for each. That will be able to give you the expected return for each one of them. So we come up with the expected returns for each one of them. So the first one was given us each figure, 7.8. So this one is 7.8. The second one is 9.75. Then the last one is giving us which figure? 8.32. You confirm whether they are the correct figures. So now from there, sorry, yes. Online, you confirm those figures, whether they are the correct values. The first one that said is 8.8. Yeah, so now from there, you get your expected return. So the weight for A, take 2.5 millions, divide by the total, which is 5 millions. So the first, the return for A is 8.8. Now we have for B, the weight for B, it is 1.3 millions. Also divided by 5 millions, multiplied by 9.6. Then the last one you take 1.2, also divide by 5. So you now add them together. They will give you the expected return of the portfolio. But the question was not fair because the work that you have done, they were only meant to give you 4 marks. So, but the concept that is important, same the concept, because the question will not give you the percentage returns. You are first of all to calculate the percentage returns before you calculate the expected return for the portfolio. So that should be your Roman letter. How to come up with the expected return for the portfolio. But what I wanted you to know is how to get the percentage returns. The question gave you the share price. So you are meant to convert them into percentage return. So we need now to go to the Roman letter 2. We should now be able to go to the Roman letter 2. So when you check Roman letter 2, they were explaining that using the mathematical model, compute the portfolio risk. Using the mathematical model, compute the portfolio risk. So that is the same as the actual standard deviation for the portfolio. That is the same as the actual standard deviation of the portfolio. So using the mathematical model, they wanted you to calculate the portfolio risk. So this time around, it is the 3-asset portfolio. The other questions we were dealing with, there were 2 assets portfolio, but this one has got 3 assets. So if there are 3 assets, and we want to calculate the actual standard deviation for the portfolio. So the question wanted you to get the actual standard deviation of the portfolio or the actual risk of the portfolio using the mathematical model. So what we do, we start with the weight of A squared, then the variance of A, like that. Then we also add weight of B squared, variance of B, like that. So there are 3 assets, A, B, and C. So you also factor in the weight for C, also the variance weight for C squared, then also the variance for C, like that. Then we add. Remember, when there were 2 assets, it was 2 multiplied by the weight of A and the weight of B. But this time there are how many assets? 3. So this one will be 3 multiplied by the weight of A, the weight of B, the weight for C. Then the covariance between A, B, and C. Relax. So this is 3 assets. It is the 3-asset portfolio. It is the 3-asset portfolio. They have combined 3 assets together. They have combined 3 assets together. When there were 2, like there's a question we did for A and B, you are simply getting the weight for A squared, the variance for A. We add the weight for B squared, variance for B. Then you are at 2 multiplied the weight for A, the weight for B, then covariance between A and B. But this one is a 3-asset portfolio. It is a 3-asset portfolio. So we need to get 3 items there, which is not even. The weight you already have. You see for A, it is 2.5 divided by 5. The weight we have. But now we don't have the variance for A. We don't have the variance for B, also the variance for C. Then we also need the covariance between A and B and C. So we start off by calculating the covariance between A, B, and C. There are 3 assets. There are 3 assets. The question did not specify a given combination under the answer, even though they gave you the correlation coefficient of returns for the combination A and B, A and C, and also B and C. But that means if you calculate for each combination separately, it is only 6 months. You see, it is only 6 months. So if you compute each separately, that will be like now taking the whole lessons, calculating for each one of them, which was not practical. So it was meant to combine all of them. You ignore that additional information where they gave you A and B, A and C, and also B and C. which is meant to assist you just in case the question narrowed down to each. So that you'll have narrowed down, like now, using mathematical model, compute the portfolio risk of either A and B, or A and C, or B and C. But this one is silent. We could not compute for all of them. I will show you the combined, but if you compute for all of them, time will not be sufficient. I suspect it was meant to be for all the three combined together, not as per indicated for that question. So to get the covariance between A, B, and C, we shall be able to get the summation from the first. There were three observations for each. So get the return for A minus expected return for B. Also get return for B minus expected return. That's what we agreed previously. Then you multiply the probability when there are only two assets. But now there are three assets. Also include there return for C minus expected return for C before we multiply the probability in that manner. Because there are three assets combined together. So the first return for A, remember it was 20. So you take the 20 minus the expected return for A, which was 8.8. That's the first return for A. Then the first return for B, it is 25. The first return for B is 25. Expected return for B, it is 9.75. It is 9.75. Then the first return for C, it is 20. 20 also minus expected return, which is 8.32. Then the first probability was 0.3. So you compute 5. Then you go to the next one. The second one, this one is 10 minus 8.8. Then 15 minus 9.75. Then the last one is meant to be 13.33 minus 8.32. Then 0.4. Then also the last one for each is -4 minus 8.8. Then also -12.5 minus 9.5. Then also -10 minus 8.3. So when you add them together, they should be able to give you the covariance between A, B, and C. Because it was three assets. It was three assets portfolio. And we have also given the amount that was invested in each one of them. So you combine them together. It was a three asset portfolio. It was a three asset portfolio. The other questions we have been doing, all of them have been two asset portfolio. We had not encountered a three asset portfolio. So confirm the total. Confirm the total. So you will also require the standard deviation for each. Also require the standard deviation for A. You will also require the standard deviation for each. So standard deviation for A, get the solution. So return for A minus expected return square 1 by the probability, then get the square of x. The first return for A is 20 minus 8, 28 square, first probability. Also compute 10 minus 8.8 square, then 0.4. That's the solution. Well, we will also compute the standard deviation. So you should also get the standard deviation for A, also the standard deviation. And you will also get the standard deviation for C. So that was the challenge in the question. It had no meaning. Whatever they are asking is none, but they gave you so many details to answer a very small proportion. Because we know how to get the standard deviation. We know how to get the covariance. But now they were complicated by giving you so many details. Get the standard deviation for each so that we conclude now the question. But finally, the final figure up there we read So I want us to conclude the question. The concept we know, but the question was complicated by giving you three assets together. So they complicated the question by giving you three assets to form the portfolio. So we have now all the details. The weight for A, you see this weight for A. You take the 2.5. Remember 2.5 divided by 5. Yeah, so it will give us 0.1. Yeah, so this weight for A, it is 0.5 square. I hope you will remember how we are getting the 0.5. There is a place we calculated the total market value. You can see the total market value. For the ordinary, for A, we multiplied 50,000 by 50. It gave you 2.5. So to get now the proportion for A, you take that 2.5 divided by 5 million. That is what gives you 0.5. Then you square it. Then you have calculated the standard deviation for A. Standard deviation for A is coming to which figure? Sorry? 9.35. So you confirm online. So we square to get the variance. Then I also like you to confirm the proportion for B, where you take 1.3 also divide by 5 million. 1.3 divided by 5. Should be 0.26. We square that. Then what are you getting as the standard deviation for B? Online, you confirm with these figures. For B, 15.14. 15.14. So also have, so the one for C, when you take 1.2 million divided by 5 million, it will obviously be 0.24, because all of them should add up to another. It should be 0.24. So this one is 0.24 squared. How about the standard deviation for C? Okay. 12.3. 12.3. Then now that is factored in that portion. So this will be 3 multiplied by 0.5 multiplied by 0.26 multiplied by 0.24. So your covariance, we first add negative what? Was it negative or positive? It was negative. Negative 995 point what? 954. 954.15. Yeah. So when you will compute that figure, you get it in negative. So we cannot get a square root of a negative. So just leave it. Because finally, this figure that you will get to be negative. There is no square root of a negative. But we just have the concept calculation. Because finally you'll get a negative value. Covariance, someone has given, Virginia has given me 851.26. Others, you got which figure? It was 950. Someone else has given me 954.153. Yeah. So anyway, the nature of the question is not clear, but I wanted you to know the concept. So the final figure you will get after calculating this is negative. So there is no square root of a negative. There is no square root of a negative figure. But now, finally, you have the concept in relation to the three asset portfolio. But that was not justifiable as per the marks that were allocated. The marks that were allocated, they should have narrowed down just to what a combination of, so that you deal with them. But now they were able to be silent from there. So that is all in relation to that question. That is now all in relation to that question. So you are concluding the portfolio theory. But I also want us to get another question where there is no probability. Where there is no probability. These questions you have been doing, all of them had probabilities. But I would like you to get one that has no probabilities before we conclude. The one that has no probabilities. So one of the questions that has no probabilities, it is in the sitting of November 2016, question 2 part B. Just confirm whether we did the question. November 2016, question 2 part B. Confirm whether we did that question. November 2016, question number 2 part B. You go to page 62. When you check on page 62, you will see that question 2 part B. Did you do the question? November 2016, question 2 part B. Mine's on page 62. When you go to page 62, you will see the question. As well. Yeah, so that question has no probabilities. I also have some interest on it so that we know when there is no probabilities, how do you deal with that kind of a question? So that we move out of now this topic of the portfolio theory. So that we now move out of this topic of the portfolio theory. So that we move out of this topic for the portfolio theory. So in this question, the question reads that Moses Mapesa is in the process of evaluating investments in 2 companies. Evaluating investments in 2 companies whose percentage returns in the last 10 years are as shown below. So they gave you company and the percentage returns. Year 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, up to year 10. They have given you the percentage returns for FS Limited and SN Limited. So required correlation coefficient of the companies. So this time there are 2 only. There are only 2 companies. So it is easier now to handle. So this time there are no probabilities. When there are no probabilities, I'll show you how to get expected return, how to get the standard deviation. Now we calculate the risk. So we need to start by calculating expected return of F Limited. So expected return is the same as the average returns. Expected return is the same as the average returns. So when there is no probabilities, you simply add all of them together. You divide by that number because expected return is average. So you take 37, you add 24, you also add -7. You also add 6. You also add 18. You also add 32. You also add -5. You also add 21. You also add 18. You also add 6. So you divide by their number. There are 10 of them. That is how to get expected return. When there is no probabilities, you simply add all of them, you divide by their number. We do the same for Sn. Also calculate expected return n. So to repeat 32, then we also add 29. We also add -12. We also add 1. We also add 15. We also add 30. We also add 0. Also add 18. We also add 7. Also add 10. And also divide by 10. 10. So when there is no probabilities to get the average return or expected return, simply add all of them and divide by their number. You simply add all of them, then you will divide by their number. So both of them should give you the same figure. They are giving us 15 minutes. Yeah, so all of them should give you the same. So after calculating the expected return, we need now to get the covariance because the question wanted the correlation coefficient. So to get the covariance between F and N, to get the covariance of company F and N, also get the summation from the first. So there are 10 observations. There are 10 observations. So get the return for F minus expected return. Also get the return for N minus expected return for N. So there is no probability now around. But when there is no probability, after getting that total, divide by N. But because observations are less than 30, normally subtract 1. Take into account the error term. Remember, when observations are less than 30, there are fewer. Chances of making an error is high. That's why normally subtract 1. So we shall arrange all of them. You start off with the first one. For F, it is 37. Expected return is 15. Also, the first return for N is 32. You also subtract 15. So you need to add all of them together first before you divide by N minus 1. We shall do the 10 of them together before we divide by N minus 1. So the second return for F is 24, also minus 15. Then also 29, also minus 15. We go to the next one, which is negative minus 15, also negative 12, minus 15. Should also have 6 minus 15, also 1 minus 15. Next one is meant to be 15 minus 15, then 15 minus 15. So there are 10 of them arranged up number 10. There are 10 of them to arrange up number 10. Then you will get the total. That total is what we shall divide by 10 minus 1. Get the, after you arrange up number 10, that total is what we should be able to divide by. So the total, when you divide by 918, 2 zeros. Yeah, so you have to, this total is how much? Let me add that. Is 1870. Oh, point what? Yeah, it's divided. 18, so you divide by 10 minus 1. So that is what you are saying is 208 point. So that should be the covariance between the two. You also need to get the standard deviation for each. We also need to get the standard deviation for each. So let us now get the standard deviation for each one of them before now we conclude on that last part. So the standard deviation for F, we shall also get the summation. So return of F minus expected return of F. So you square. But now that there is no probabilities, we shall divide off by n minus 1. Then we should be getting the square root. Now that there is no probabilities, we divide by n minus 1. So the first return for F, it is 37. Subtract the expected return, which was 50. You will square. So we shall add all of them together before you divide by 10 minus 1. Then you get the square. What the second one? 24 minus 15 square, get the value. Also got the value. Square, get the value. There is also 6 minus 15 square, also get the value. Yes. So once you have computed those items, is now when we can answer Roman 1. Correlation coefficient of the company's return. Correlation coefficient for the company's returns. So to get correlation coefficient between F and N, we simply get the covariance between F and N, the standard deviation of F multiplied by the standard deviation of F. So when you want to get the correlation coefficient, you simply come up with the covariance between Fn divided by the standard deviation for F multiplied by the standard deviation for N. So covariance, you said it was 208.22. Then what is the standard deviation for F? When I get the square root, 14.73. Also confirm for N. The one for N should give us 15 points. So when you compute, that now should give you the correlation coefficient. So once we get the correlation coefficient, we need now to go to the Roman letter, the portfolio risk. So this time there are only two assets. To get the actual standard deviation for the portfolio, we just get the weight of F squared, the variance of then weight and variance of N, weight of F, weight, the variance. This time there are only two. It's not like the previous question where there were three. So this time there are only two assets compared to the previous question. This one, there are only two assets compared to the previous. So we check the weights. The weights were given under Roman letter. When you check in the question in the Roman letter 2, they gave you the weight. They had given you the weight in the Roman letter 2. They have given you the weight in the Roman letter 2. So are you able to see Roman letter 2? Yeah, they gave you the weight. They said that portfolio risk assuming equal weight. You see that part of the equal weight. Equal weighing, because there are only two assets, it means each one is 0.5 and the other one is also 0.5. Because equal weighing means the two are equal. So it will be 0.5 squared. Then the variance for F just square 14.7. Also 0.5 squared. Then also 15.05 squared. Then 2 multiplied by 0.5 multiplied by 0.5. Then the covariance equals to 0.8. So the proportion is given. The weight or the proportion is given. They have said equal weight. Equal weighing, and there are two assets. It means each is 0.5. There are two assets. It means each is 0.5. So that now concludes the topic for the portfolio theory. When we meet next, we shall start a new topic. That is the capital. The capital asset pricing model. That is the same stuff there. So what we have now concluded is portfolio theory. When we meet, we shall now start the area of the capital asset pricing model. So you have done almost everything on that portfolio theory. So when we meet, we shall now start on the capital asset pricing model. So we can stop there for today. When we meet, we shall now proceed from that. So let us stop there for now.